Evening viewers, welcome to the Taillight Show. Yeah, I'm wearing gloves, beanie and whatever. It's freezing cold here in Melbourne. It's Easter Monday, so happy Easter kids. Hope the Easter Bunny came to you and you didn't pig out too much and now sitting there watching videos because you're as sick as buggery from too much chocolate. But anyway, so yeah, it's amazing how you can go from summer one week to winter the next, but it is what it is. So I'll give you a quick look around the shed. I said I was going to clean up, and I have been actually. I've been in here for 3.5 days. I thought I'd just do a quick video now before my body seizes it up completely because it is so bloody cold. But believe it or not, this is actually really good compared to what it was. There was stuff all here. You couldn't see the bench. Even though there's stuff all over the bench, that's just stuff I've got to put away. There was stuff all along here, and you had to walk sideways, so you couldn't get down there to where the toolboxes are. This side here was bloody diabolical. You're climbing over stuff. There was stuff all down the side of the car here and all around the back of it, on both sides, mind you. Same here down this side of it. Had firewood stacked at the back of this one as high as the boot lid. There was just crap everywhere. So I'm actually pretty happy with it. I've done quite a lot, but bear with me. I thought I'd just do this now. I still got a fair bit of cleaning up to do. As you can see, the cars are filthy. I make no apology for that. I just don't get out here as much as I should, and shit blows in through the roof and whatever and gets covered in the cars. And I didn't worry about cleaning them up because when I put them away, they were dirty. So when I clean them up, I've got plenty of car covers. I'll cover them all up and whatever. But these poor things just sort of really sitting here these days. That one there hasn't moved since August last year when I last raced it. This one hasn't moved in 12 months. This one's been on the hoist for about 3 years. This one here in the corner hasn't moved in about 5 years. I don't think I've actually even started it in that long. So anyway, so these are actually Isuzu Bellettes imported. Well, that one there's an Isuzu Wasp. I'll come back to that. But these are Isuzu Bellettes imported into Australia between 1964 and 1969. About 16,000 four-door sedans came in. 293 GT coupes. But that was between 66 and 69, so it makes them rarer than a Phase 3 on their own, but that was over 4 years when they sold those. And that there's an Isuzu Wasp, which is the predecessor to a Chevlove, which then became a Holden Rodeo, which then became a D-Max, which Isuzu still sells. My daughter's got a D-Max, actually, a really nice one, and that thing there is his great-granddaddy. Anyway, so I was a 15-year-old kid. I've been working a couple of jobs, and Matey burned a hole in my pocket and said, Dad, want to build a car? And I was going to do a Mark 1 Cortina, which I still might do one day. I missed out on one about 8 years ago, and I kicked myself ever since. It was a factory black one. But anyway, Dad said to me, oh, we've got parts in the shed somewhere, and it turns out they were new old stock parts. So we got a Bellette. I did that up. It was my first car. I drove it around for years. I've still got that car. It's been through another couple of pair of hands. Came back to me as a bare shell. I was going to rebuild it, but then I bought the 41, and it's actually going to go to a mate of mine now. He's going to look after it. So that was my second car. That was 1994. I built that on apprentice wages, that car. Anyway, just very quickly, I'll run you through what's in here and what these are. So, yeah, this one here is a 67 Bellette standard sedan. So there was a standard and a deluxe. And it was just luxury stuff like heater. They had a fan force heater and carpets, and they had more chrome trim on them and bits and pieces and whatever. Mechanical leather all the same. So all the sedans were 1500cc, single carb, 4-speed box, drum brakes all around, that sort of thing. So this thing here is highly, highly modified car. This was just a standard white road car when I got it. And as you can see, there's not too much standard now. I think literally the only thing standard on this car now, believe it or not, is the roof. Everything else has been modified or changed or whatever in some way. So this thing's still got a single cam engine in it, but it's got a 2-litre overhead cam Gemini engine in it with Webers and all the hardware, all the bits and pieces. So yeah, it goes all right. I've got another engine to go in it. I'm just going to pull my finger out. I'll actually push that on properly. There we go. I've got another engine to go in it that I've only been saying for about 5 years I've got to build. So it's two-time Victorian hill climb champion in its class in 2018 and 2021. And it's come runner-up twice in 2016 and 2022. I didn't race there for a few years in 2017, 2019, and nobody raced in 2020 thanks to COVID and shit Dick Dan. But anyway, so all these cars, I will actually do more videos on them if you want, and I'll go right through them and show you everything on them if you want. But this thing's, 2 litre. It's only got a 4-speed box at the moment, only got a 5-speed. It's got a lock diff in it. massive amount of work in the front end in it, 4-wheel disc brakes, 4-spot front calipers on it, all sorts of stuff. So pretty highly modified car. There's a few modified Bellets around, but I reckon that one there probably is just about the most heavily modified one. So anyway, as I said, this thing, GT Coupe, it's a 68 Bellet 1600 GT Coupe, to be exact. Isuzu decided they're going to turn the 4-door sedan into a 2-door coupe. And they put longer doors in it, lowered the roof 40 mil. It's got a 1600 overhead valve engine in it, so normal Bellet engine, but it's alloy high port head, twin SU carbies, or Hitachis, but they're SUs. A massive cam in it. I mean, it's got a huge cam in it from the factory. Extractors, close ratio, 4-speed box, remote shifter. They were optional LSD. This one doesn't have an LSD in it. It's disc brake front end, alloy thin drum rear, and all the bits. Like these, believe it or not, genuinely, and not just saying this, genuinely, these were the first Japanese GT ever sold by any manufacturer anywhere in the world. So all you guys that have got Nissan Skyline GTs and GTRs, you should bow down to Bellet GTs, because these were the ones that kicked it off. Isuzu decided they're going to make it a sporty sort of car. Have a look inside. Believe it or not, other than the seats, it's got Recaros in it. Other than the seats, that's all original, folks. All that instrumentation, the wood grain, the way the shifter's done, the steering wheel, the whole lot. Oh, and, well, the CD player, ignore that. But yeah, so Isuzu decided they were going to build a GT Bellet. They raced them and won just about everything with them. And Prince, which then became Nissan, we can't have that. So they turned their Skyline into a GT, and it became a GTR, and you will know from there. So that's what kicked it off. 293 of these were imported into the country. As I said, there's only about probably 40, 50 left, something like that. Again, I'll give you another rundown on that one day. This thing here, the poor old girl who's sitting in the corner, that's a 1965 Isuzu Wasp tray ute. It's got a flat tray on it. You could actually buy these with a proper style side ute, which a mate of mine's got. 122 Wasps imported in 1965 in one shipment. It took them 4 years to sell a whole lot of them, so they never imported any more. And I wonder why. There's only about 15 or 20 left. This one I built in 1994 on apprentice wages. It just about broke me at the time. In there, it's got a 2-litre Isuzu double overhead cam engine in it with twin 45 Dell'Orto carbies on it, 5-speed box, disc brake front end, blah, 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 blah. So pretty... But back in the day, it was a pretty highly modified car, especially on P-plates, and it friggin' goes. Doesn't weigh that. Weighs more than a Bellet, but because it's full chassis and whatever. These were actually, believe it or not, a 1-ton carrying capacity, low capacity. And they only had a 1500 single cam Bellet engine and a 4-speed box back in the day. But again, it hasn't moved in 5 or 6 years or something, or whatever I said. I'll uncover that one day and I'll show you. So this one up here, this is a bit of a favourite for quite a few people. I like this car too because it pisses people off, but it only pisses off a select few who consider themselves to be experts. And when I say experts, I'm sure we've all come across them. Now this car, it's unrestored, right? As you can see. Look at the back of it. There you go. Right. It's got a clear coat over it, but you can see it's unrestored, right? The significance of this little car, it's a 66 Bellet sedan, standard again. And the significance of this car is right there, 29B. This actual car, raced at Bathurst in 1966 in the Galleria 500, was driven by the late George Reynolds. Shout out there to Greg, if you're watching, mate. Hope you're going good down there, buddy. And my good mate, Barry Ferguson. And I hope you're going well too, Baz. I hope the family's all coping really well, mate, and everything's going really good. So, yeah, this car started 29th at Bathurst in 1966 with George and Barry driving it, and it finished 21st outright and 5th in class, and it was the best result Bellet ever had. It was also the fastest car in Class B down Conrod Straight in 1966. That car was clocked at 101.1 mile an hour. It was the only car to get over 100 mile an hour in its class. So, it's unrestored. You can sort of see here. It's unrestored. It is considered by quite a few people to be the oldest unrestored Bathurst raced car of any kind, as in Bathurst 500 or 1000. I will say it. It pisses a few people off, very few people who think they seem to know better, but it's funny how those people have never seen the car, never spoken to anybody about the car, never spoken to me, never spoken to anybody who's independent on this car, who have nothing to gain at all by any stretch or way, shape or form, by saying it is the genuine car, who have inspected this and have verified that it is the real car. But yet, experts seem to know better. So anyway, again, I'll have to lower that down one day and I'll show you. There was a very good article written on this car about a year or so ago, a year and a half ago. I could dig the issue of the magazine out. It was Survivor Car Australia magazine. It's got a black Valiant Charger on the front cover. There was an 8-page article done on this car, and it shows everything that was done in this car to modify it for race use, because they were supposed to be standard, but trust me, they weren't. Yeah, and that article spells it all out and shows it everything in its infinite glory. And by the way, for the bike heads, that's a 1980 Honda H100A. It's a 100cc single-cylinder 2-stroke commuter bike. I found this as a genuine barn or shed find. And it had 4,500 Ks on it. I brought it home and all that was wrong with it. It had been parked since about 1985. All that was wrong with it was it had a block fuel line on it. And it was a proper little commuter bike. I brought it home, pulled it all apart, stripped it all completely, turned it into a cafe racer. And that's when I found out how rare this bike was, because it's actually a factory 5-speed. And the 5-speed was an option for export bikes only. It very, very, very rare bike. So, yeah, look, I'm going to say it. I'm a taillight. I'm a little bit dull. I only found out what it was after I chopped it up. Anyway, so there you go, folks. There's just a quick look around the shed, little bit of info on each car. I'll do more in depth. As I always say, subscribe, like, blah, blah, blah. Please comment on this if you want some more info, or whatever you want to know with these cars. But I will do some more in videos. But look, it might not be for quite a while till I do videos. Like I said, that hasn't moved in 4 years. That hasn't moved in 6 years. So poor old GT's only been started 2 or 3 times in the last. Come back, focus. Oh, it didn't work that time. If I say abracadabra, there we go. That works then. That's only been driven out of the shed 2 or 3 times the last couple of days to give me some room in here. Other than that, it hadn't been moved in 12 months. So, anyway, like I said, yeah, let me know if you want to see stuff or whatever, and I'll bang some more videos up. But, yeah, hope you're all going good for Easter. Stay dull.